Hey guys, I get to talk to you about Matthew 7 today. It's a really cool place for me because when I read through Matthew 7, I think about all the wisdom that it gives us. And so today I want to talk to you about the verses 24 through 25. It gives us clear instruction, I believe, about foundation. And it says, "Therefore, everyone who hears these words of mine and puts them into practice is like a wise man who built his house on the rock. The rain came down, the streams rose, and the winds blew and beat against that house. Yet it did not fall, because it had its foundation on the rock." So as I read through that and was thinking what I should share, I immediately thought about the word foundation. What does it mean? And so I wanted to kind of look it up and read to you what it means. The lowest load-bearing part of a building, typically below ground level. And so as I was thinking about it, I immediately thought about this wall in our house. It's between our kitchen and our living room. And multiple times I've told Chris, I think I want to take this wall down and make it bigger. And then I think about it and I'm not sure. But the first thing he always said to me was, we have to figure out if it's a load-bearing wall. The thing about a load-bearing wall is if you remove it and you don't reinforce it, your ceilings can sag, your floors can be uneven, and it could actually completely fall. So it's important to know that fact. One of the things that I thought about connecting those two is how Jesus is our foundation and how important it is for us to have that strong foundation. And so with your foundation, it's not always to see. Sometimes you have to go underneath the house. It's not always easy to see with the eyes. And so same thing with our faith. Sometimes it's not really always easy to see. Sometimes we don't know if people are reading the word and spending time with God and just sitting in his presence. But when we do see it come to fruition is when things start to happen in their life. So when the pressure comes, maybe a diagnosis comes, or you have a loss of a job, or maybe your marriage is struggling, or maybe you have been holding on to hope for something, a promise you have clung to, and it's just not happening. So then I'm going to ask, can you see God then? Do you see him in that situation? Do you see him as a provider, a restorer, a protector? Do you see him as a comforter? Because when we sit in his word, when we spend time with him, our foundation is strong. And that doesn't mean that we don't feel the emotions of the moment and what's happening. But what that does mean is when we sort through that, when we work through those emotions, we remember what God's word tells us. He tells us that he's faithful. He's the Alpha and the Omega. He knows the beginning and the end of our stories. So today, if you are walking through a season and it's hard and you really don't know where to turn, I would encourage you today to turn to Jesus. And if you don't know who Jesus is, or maybe you're questioning, then I would encourage you, take time and sit before him and ask him to reveal himself to you, because he's big and he's God and he will. And know that your foundation should always lay in Jesus, in his word, in his presence, in his time. Thanks, guys. Have a great day.